Today's lesson is called Glass Collisions. What birds don't see can kill them. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff.
I am Roger, and today we're going to continue talking about the world of birds. Birds are all over the world. They are amongst us, and we love them so much. We like to listen to their songs. We like to go bird watching, and of course, we've got some great birds here in Taiwan. Some of the best birds in the world fly right here in Taiwan, but hey, there's a problem with birds all over the world. They keep flying into buildings because of the glass facades of those buildings. And I don't think Taiwan is an exception to that. I think they probably have this problem here as well. We talked about the problem of birds colliding with glass, and we also talked about the problem of artificial lighting. The light confuses birds that like to fly at night.
There you go. Poor birds. And yes, here in Taiwan, we do have some very beautiful, beautiful birds, especially the Formosan Magpie. One thing, though, the Formosan Magpie, although it is beautiful, it's also quite aggressive. I had to learn this the hard way. I actually had a bird collision one time. I didn't see the bird crash into any windows or anything like that. But I was jogging and I had my headset in and it's neon. And as I'm running through a neighborhood, I thought someone had hit me with a baseball or something like that. No, it was one of those big Formosan magpies swooping through the air. Apparently, it thought that I was trying to take its babies or attack its nest or something like that. So it crashed into me. So there you go. Formosan Magpie. I don't know if they're crashing into windows, but hey, I've had a collision with one myself. You don't want that to happen to you too, so be careful. Anyways, folks, with that, it's time for us to get serious and talk some more about glass collisions. Glass collisions are not good for birds.
Recognizing the growing problem of glass collisions, architects are increasingly designing buildings with bird safety in mind. The Javits Center, New York City's 70,000 square meter exhibition hall, was recently renovated to include patterned glass panels. This addition has resulted in a 90% reduction in bird deaths. In Chicago, the patterned glass and wavy balconies of the 82-story Aqua Tower were designed to reduce reflections that can confuse birds and cause collisions.
各位好，第一部分我们看到单字 renovate 这个字是动词，指建筑物翻新整修。例如 My friend's drama club is going to renovate the old downtown theater. 我朋友的戏剧俱乐部即将翻新市区的老戏院。或是 Jack renovated his garage to turn it into a guest room. Jack 把车库重新装潢变成客房。另外，补充这个字的名词 renovation R-E-N-O-V-A-T-I-O-N Renovation 指重整、翻修。我们可以说 Lester's favorite restaurant is closed for renovations. Lester 最喜欢的餐厅为了翻修而没有营业。再来，我们看到形容词 wavy 指波浪状的。举例来说 The glass in front of the building had a wavy design that looked very strange. 该建筑物前的玻璃是波浪状设计，看起来很奇怪。另外，除了上面的意思，这个字还可以指卷曲的。例如 Luna saw a woman with wavy brown hair standing in front of the train station. Luna 看见一头棕色卷发的女人站在火车站前。
Okay, so we have established that glass collisions are a problem for birds, and birds are part of the ecosystem. We need to protect them as much as possible. They will affect the food chain and all that kind of stuff, and if we don't protect the birds, we'll eventually all starve to death. It might be a possibility, you never know, but so we do recognize that the growing problem of glass collisions is something we need to pay attention to. So recognizing this problem because they have recognized this problem, architects are increasingly designing buildings with bird safety in mind. So, of course, if you are an architect, that means you have studied architecture or architectural engineering, which means you basically learn how to design and build structures, buildings, houses, or whatever. So, of course, the people who are designing these buildings are called architects, and they are aware of this problem. They have recognized this problem. So increasingly, more and more, they are designing buildings with bird safety in mind. So here we've got with something in mind. That just means they are remembering this important aspect when they design their buildings.
Yeah, they're taking this into consideration when they are designing these buildings. Before, they only thought about the structures, okay? Maybe the interior structure, the exterior structure, the way the buildings are put together at a basic level. Now they're also thinking, okay, let's design these buildings so that they don't kill a bunch of birds as well. Get this, the Javits Center, New York City's 70,000 square meter exhibition hall, was recently renovated to include patterned glass panels. So they're not getting rid of the glass, okay? They are, though, including patterns on these glass panels. There you go. Apparently, a bird might not be able to see glass itself, but if you pattern that glass, they're able to see that, and they won't collide with that glass as often. How about that? Now, here we're talking about an exhibition hall, okay? That means you've got a big space that's set up for exhibitions.
Right. Taipei, of course, has numerous exhibition halls. There's one in Nangang, and there, of course, are a couple by Taipei 101, and this is in New York City here, so they've renovated the glass there. To renovate means to, kind of make some adaptations. The basic building is still the same, but they've made some changes to the exterior, to the windows or whatever. So it's been renovated, and they have these patterned glass panels. So now the birds can see the glass panels when they fly toward them, and the birds will be able to pull away, knowing that if they keep going, they're going to crash into something. And it makes me wonder if they should just let graffiti writers loose on those glass buildings. They can mark them up with graffiti, and then the birds will never crash into them as a result. But that would be an eyesore. That's a subject for a different day. But again, we've got this renovation, and it's got these glass panels, and it has had its effect. This addition has resulted in a 90% reduction in bird deaths. How about that? A reduction, a lowering of the amount or the number of something.
There you go. So this has had a really good effect, a very positive effect. Okay, a 90% reduction in bird deaths. That's fantastic. And that took place in New York. Let's talk about the second city now. In Chicago, the patterned glass and wavy balconies on the 82-story Aqua Tower were designed to reduce reflections that can confuse birds and cause collisions. So there you go. They're doing it in New York City and in Chicago too. And yes, in the United States, sometimes people do call Chicago the second city. New York City, of course, is numero uno, number one. Chicago is number two, although I believe that Los Angeles now is actually more populated than Chicago is, might be a bigger city, but still, in everyone's hearts, Chicago will always be the second city. Anyways, before we move on, let's go ahead and talk about the word wavy.
Wavy, yeah, like a wave. Imagine someone with wavy hair. It's not really curly and it's not straight, but it's kind of in between being kind of kinky and really tightly curled and being very straight. So yeah, wavy. And in this particular case, we've got wavy balconies. If you look at a picture of the Aqua Tower, you'll see what we mean. They kind of go in and out kind of slowly like waves. And these balconies were designed to reduce reflections. And that means there are not so many reflections there, and therefore the birds will not get confused, and they will not collide with the buildings. They'll be able to fly freely out over Lake Michigan, free to fly for the rest of their lives. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now to talk about what we can do for birds as individuals.
As individuals, we can help protect birds too. Sticking decals to our windows is effective in preventing birds from flying into the glass, but one decal usually isn't enough due to the fact that birds could attempt to fly around it. Hence, decals should be placed 10 to 15 centimeters apart from each other and, if possible, on the outside of the glass, where they can minimize reflections more effectively. Alternatively, we could install Venetian blinds, which allow light in even when lowered. At night, let's remember to turn off our lights when we don't need them, for this simple act can prevent nocturnal birds from striking our windows.
第二部分我们看到副词 alternatively 指或者要不然，例如 We can meet at the restaurant or alternatively I can pick you up. 我们可以在餐厅碰面，要不然我也可以去接你。再来我们看到单字 install 这个字是动词，指安装设置。例如 The school installed a new camera system in the parking lot. 学校在停车场装设了新的监视摄影系统。另外，在这个字的字尾加上 ation 就成了名词 installation 指安装设置。像是 The installation of the dishwasher should take about an hour. 洗碗机安装时间大约需要1个小时。
Okay, folks, let's learn what we, as individuals, can do to help birds out. Okay, by the way, here, if we're talking about an individual, we're talking about a single human being. I am an individual, Roger is an individual, and as individuals altogether, we can help protect birds too. We can do little things to minimize the number of glass collisions.
That's right. So let's talk about some of the little things that we can do to help save the lives of our feathered friends. So here's one thing we can do. Sticking decals to our windows is effective in preventing birds from flying into the glass. But one decal usually isn't enough due to the fact that birds could attempt to fly around it. Now, here we've got the word decal, and I should talk about the word sticker at the same time because they are similar, but a sticker to me is not transparent. You can't really see through it. A decal can be seen through. I remember when I was a kid and I had model airplanes, sometimes you could put decals on them, like if I built maybe the Spitfire World War II fighting plane. You could put the little symbols on the wings there using decals, okay? You would have to soak them in water first, and then they'd get soft enough where you could slide them off the paper and stick them on the model. A sticker, you just kind of peel it from its back and just put it right onto something. A decal, again, as I said, can be seen through.
Yeah, for the most part, when I think of a sticker, I think of something simple. Maybe a piece of paper with some glue on it that you can stick on something, okay? It sticks there, so you call it a sticker. A decal is going to be like a serious sticker, okay? It might have the logo of a brand, or it might have been designed to attach to something in a specific way, in a specific place. So yeah, you can call a decal a sticker, but there's more to a decal. It's not as simple as a sticker is. Anyways, sticking decals to our windows is effective in preventing birds from flying into the glass, but one decal usually isn't enough due to or because of the fact that birds could attempt to fly around it. So they see that one thing and they think, no problem, I'll fly around it. And the problem is that they'll still be flying into the glass. So here we've got to think things through. Is one decal enough? No, it's not. We need to place these decals in such a way that the birds, they figure out that there's a window there, something that they can fly into.
Right, so one decal isn't enough. Hence, therefore, as a result, decals should be placed 10 to 15 centimeters apart from each other, and if possible, on the outside of the glass, which might be difficult to do if you live in a tall apartment building. It could be quite dangerous, so please be careful. But if you put those decals outside of the glass, they can minimize the reflections, they can reduce them, they can make them smaller and smaller, less noticeable, and they will be more effective. Now, alternatively, which means with another choice here, we could install Venetian blinds, which allow light in even when lowered. Okay, Venetian blinds, I believe you call them 百叶窗 in Chinese. So you could install Venetian blinds in your windows there. To install just means to put them there so that they work properly.
There you go. You can install these Venetian blinds, make them a part of your life, put them in your house near the windows there, and this can help birds out. Anyways, that's enough about Venetian blinds for now. Okay, sure, those Venetian blinds will help out. They'll allow in light even when they're lowered. But what about at nighttime? Well, at night, let's remember to turn off our lights when we don't need them. For this simple act can prevent nocturnal birds from striking our windows. By the way, we have the word nocturnal here. Nocturnal animals are mostly active at nighttime. That's what this word means. Anyways, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break. But don't go away. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up our article on glass collisions.
Birds are a vital part of our world. Unfortunately, they're dying as a consequence of human expansion and development. It's only right that we do our best to protect them.
最后第三部分我们看到名词 expansion 指发展、扩展、扩充。例如 The expansion of the company led to the hiring of many new employees. 该公司扩展导致必须招募许多新职员。或是 The teacher talked to his students about the theory of the expansion of the universe. 这个老师告诉他的学生有关于宇宙扩充的理论。另外补充这个字的名词 expanse E-X-P-A-N-S-E expanse 指广阔区域。我们可以说 All around us was an expanse of calm blue ocean. 广阔平静的蓝色大海环绕着我们周围。
Okay, the last paragraph here sums things up for us. We do need to do something for these poor birds who are flying into buildings all the time. It's a serious problem. It could affect us all. So here it says birds are a vital part of our world. Again, they're part of the ecosystem. We need to protect them as much as possible. They are a vital part of our world. Vital just means important. They are key. We really can't do without them. If birds suddenly disappeared, all life on Earth would disappear too within a couple of generations.
That's possible. Unfortunately, they're dying as a consequence of human expansion and development. Yeah, this is not a good thing, and that's why we're using this word unfortunately. Yes, this is not a good thing. This is unfortunate. Unfortunately, these birds are dying because of us humans. We continue to develop and we also expand. Yes, if something expands, by the way, it gets bigger. It's bigger than it was before, okay? So expand would be the verb. Expansion would be the noun. Human expansion. Our cities are growing. Soon there'll be less and less nature and more cities just because of human expansion.
Yeah, it used to be good enough for us humans to live off the land as hunter-gatherers and stuff like that, but of course, over thousands of years, we've built civilizations and buildings and societies and cities and of course nowadays really tall buildings with lots of glass windows, so that's bad for birds. And it's only right that we do our best to protect those birds, okay? So yeah, we're responsible for their deaths and we're responsible for the decline in their population. And so we need to do something about it. No, we don't need to tear down all those buildings and go back to being cavemen, but we can think about various things to do to help those birds. If we don't have those birds, my goodness, the world is in trouble. Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. It's time now to listen to our Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第二部分有一个句子写到 Alternatively, we could install Venetian Blinds, which allow light in even when lowered. 好，句子里面的 Venetian Blind 就表示百叶帘、百叶窗，而 which 是用来代指 Venetian Blind 去补充说明百叶帘即便放下来的时候，光线还是可以照进来。好，那我们来看到 when lowered， 它就是由 when they are lowered 简化而来，这个 they 指的就是百叶帘。好，那么 when 后面直接接了分词，这其实是分词构句的用法。我们来学习这个文法重点。好，看到 when 主词加动词逗号主词加动词的句型时，当前后子句的主词一样，我们可以省略 when 后方的主词，然后把动词改分词形式，就会形成分词构句，就是 when 直接接分词 VING 或是 PP。当动词是主动，就用现在分词 VING， 被动就只要保留过去分词 PP。好，那么简化的句型就是 when VING 或是 PP 逗号主词加动词。那这个分词构句也可以摆在主要子句的后面，把它写作主词加动词 when 再加上 VING 或是 PP。好，例如 When driving, you should always be paying attention to the road。 开车的时候，你应该随时注意路况。再看个例句 Dogs wag their tails when excited。 狗狗兴奋的时候会摇尾巴。好，那么再看到课文最后一句，他写到说 It's only right that we do our best to protect them。 当我们用 It's only right 再加 that 子句，就表示什么什么才是适当的事，什么什么才是对的事。那其中的 it 是虚主词，用来代替真正的主词 that 子句。所以我们课文这个句子它真正的主词是 that we do our best to protect them， 然后 only right 就是在修饰这个 that 子句，去说明说我们尽全力保护他们才是对的。好，那么另外 one's best 它是指说某人最大的努力或是最佳状况，那么 do one's best 就表示尽某人的全力。好，那么至于 at one's best 则可以用来表达说某人或某事物是处于最佳情形，处于全胜状态。举例来说 Richard is an early bird. He's at his best in the morning. Richard 是早起的人，他在早上是处于最佳状态。那我们顺便来补充几个跟 one's best 有关的片语哦。第一个呢是 look one's best， 它表示呈现某人最好的一面。例如 Diane has a date tonight and wants to look her best。 Diane 今晚有约会，她想要打扮得漂漂亮亮，让自己看起来很棒，呈现出自己最好的一面。那么第二个补充的是 feel one's best， 是指说觉得身体处于良好状态，觉得身体很健康，像是 I'm not feeling my best today， 意思就是我今天觉得不太舒服诶。好，那么以上今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Exhibition. The nature photography exhibition attracted thousands of visitors this year. Individual. Even though we are all individuals, we should do our best to work together. Install. My brother is coming to help us install our new lights today. Vital. The marketing plan is vital to the success of the company. Unfortunately, Wade had hoped to buy a coffee on his way home. Unfortunately, the cafe was closed. Expansion. We have plans for the expansion of our house, such as an additional bedroom and bathroom.
Discussion Starter starts now!
Here's our discussion starter for today, and the question is, do you think your home is friendly to birds? If not, how could you make your house safer for birds?
You know what? I've done nothing, for the most part, to help birds from colliding with my windows, but you know what? The house I live in is still bird-friendly, just because our apartment is pretty high up in the sky. We live on the 12th floor of a building. I don't think I've ever seen a bird up that high, so We're not killing any birds, but it's not because we're trying. We just got lucky with the placement of our apartment.
Well, I could add some decals to the windows of my place, and that would make it safer for birds because sometimes they fly close to the windows. I've never actually seen a bird fly into the windows, nor have I seen a bird carcass on the ground below the window, but you never know. It could happen one day. I better go down to my local hobby store and buy a bunch of decals.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.